Hello and welcome to We Random episode 20 Extra Time. What is extra time? Well, extra time is when we didn't get to a topic that we really want to get to and we want to take the opportunity to talk about it. And that happened this week. We had what, Brian, 14 topics or something?
14.
Crazy. So one of them we didn't get to, and I really wanted to make sure that we got a chance to talk about it. In part because I had a lot of mixed thoughts and feelings and questions and things that I really wanted to discuss. So, Brian, why don't you kind of lay out the land of what this story is, and we can start chatting about it.
All right. So there is an individual, Keyon Harrold, who he and his son were staying at a upscale hotel in New York City. They were falsely accused of having the teen steal a woman's phone. There was a woman who walked up to them in the hotel and yelled at them, "Show me my phone." And she lunged at them to try to take the iPhone that the child had. I mean, I suppose he's a teenager, right? But that the teenager had in his hands. So Harold said to the woman, "Are you kidding me? You feel like there's only one iPhone made in the world?" So basically, what happened here is that a woman lost her phone and she decided, for whatever reason, to accuse this man and his son of stealing the phone. And it was brought to the attention of the hotel management, and the hotel management didn't seem to de-escalate the situation, and it just kind of became a whole big thing where the woman was a former hotel guest and came back and was kind of causing trouble, and then they just felt some kind of way about it. What are so you're the one who kind of saw this. I saw this kind of as a secondhand once you posted about it, Christopher. What kind of resonated with you in this story?
Yeah. So to add a little bit of flavor to it, this woman wasn't a current guest at the hotel. She had been a guest there 2 or 3 days earlier. So it wasn't like she just left it standing on a table that day and somebody might have picked it up. This was multiple days previous. Why she came back that day and why she decided to pinpoint that this person stole her phone, I don't know. I think the question is this, I don't even know that it's a question. There's a glaring spotlight on the fact that this is a young black man, young black boy, right? So that's obviously a problem. And I think that's where I think most people's minds are going to go with this story, first of all, right? This is shit, I lost the word that I'm looking for. Racial profiling, right? It's what it is. It's a young black person. They have a phone that looks like my phone. Clearly, they stole my phone. How this woman came to that conclusion when her phone has been gone for 2 or 3 days is fucking beyond me. But that's where she went with this. So some of the things that really jumped out to me. First of all, this woman was completely irrational. She's yelling and screaming. She was scratching and tackling at people, which is not okay, right? Like, someone should have put an end to that immediately. But then the hotel stepped in, and their response was to tell the young boy, just show her the phone and show her that it's your phone. And his father was like, no, he doesn't need to show anybody anything, right? So I think that's where part of my question comes in. So on one hand, I completely agree. Like, I know I get fucking irritated if someone tries to pull me out of what I'm doing to accommodate them for something, right? Like, hey, I think that you took this, or hey, I think you did that. And why would you think that I did that? Like, you have no proof, you have no evidence, there's no reason for you to look at me and think that I did that. That's irritating as hell to me. And I don't get that anywhere near as much as what black people do, right? Like, it's not even comparable. So I could see that. It's like, why do I have to show you this? It's insulting that you're looking at me or looking at my son and thinking that he stole this phone from you. So I think that's one angle. The other side of it is, wouldn't it just be easier though to just say, look, lady, this is my fucking phone. Leave me the fuck alone. So I think that's kind of that duality. And that's what I wanted to have a conversation about, because I can see on one hand to just say, look, you are irrational. You're losing your goddamn mind. You're being physical with me. Let me just show you that this is not your phone, and then we can all move on with our lives. And I think that that's the easy approach. But how does that then continue to Like doesn't that then show this woman that it's okay to act that way because you're getting what you wanted? She's not getting the phone obviously, but it's just reinforcing that this is the best way for her to handle things is to get completely irrational, to put her hands on people, hell, to put her hands on a young child, and have things given to her accordingly or handled the way that she wants them to. So I guess that's the question. So what are your thoughts on that, B?
I think you raise a very valid point, and it's tough because I feel like I lack a lot of context here, but I feel like that's just going to be something that we have since this woman is still unnamed and we haven't heard anything about her side of the story or why she thought that this. Because again, the context is important in this situation just to figure out like where her mental state is. Like obviously we know from the facts of this case that she was in the wrong accusing this person of stealing her phone because her phone later showed up at the hotel returned from being left in an Uber, right? So we know that no matter what's going on that she was in the wrong for tackling this dude. Why she escalated it to the point of pinpointing this specific person is what I'm wondering. Like, why did she decide, oh, this is the person with my phone? And what did she think was going to happen? Because I think that's another part of this. It's like, are you trying to like bully a kid and just think that you're going to get the phone from the kid? Or like, would you go up and do this to like a grown man or a grown woman? Like what's the rationale here? Like I guess that's what I have difficulty wrapping my mind around. Like if I lose something, I'm not going to walk up to somebody and be like, "Hey fucker, you got my stuff." Like
Right.
that's not in my wheelhouse of something that I would do. So it's always difficult for me to like think in the mindset of someone who's doing that to figure out why they feel like that action is okay.
Well, I'll give you one guess, and you really don't need it. Like we know why, right? It's a black boy. That's what it is. I mean, sure, I'm making some assumptions, but uh, I mean, like she was completely irrational about this. And I think that that's why there's kind of two different stories or two different things I'm looking at. Is there's the pretty obvious to me at least the racial profiling side of it, but then there's the how do we handle the situation. And I think unfortunately the easiest way to handle the situation just reinforces the racial profiling, right? And I guess it doesn't reinforce racial profiling, but it reinforces that the easiest way to get the way that you want is to yell and scream and physically attack people, right? And
Right.
so I think that's my concern is like we need to put an end to the racial profiling, period, point blank, right? Like there's no ifs ands or buts. That shit needs to stop. But on the flip side, it's like in the moment you're having a confrontation. The easiest way to stop that is just say, look, this is my phone, and presumably, as crazy as she was acting, presumably she would then say, oh, I'm sorry, that's not my phone, right? Presumably that's what would happen. But then on the flip side, now we're just teaching this person that all you need to do is yell and scream and someone's going to give you what you want. In this case, they are going to show you that this is not your phone. Well, what happens when, she wants a discount at Target? She's going to act the same goddamn way, yell and scream and attack people until someone gives her a discount or they haul her out in handcuffs. So
Right. Well,
it's a tough spot.
and with these phones, it's not like unless you're going to, again, show someone your private data, you're going to show someone, look, this is my account. But like, how do you really verify? Again, like people that are tech savvy, like you or I, like we can look in the specific technical details of the phone and say, okay, my phone is XQP91247. See, this is my unique number that is unique to my phone. No other phone has this number except for mine, right? But how many just lay people are going to go to that extent to figure out that that's their phone? Like how many people pick up somebody else's phone because honestly they all look the same?
Right. Yeah, well, and I mean, we could go down many different avenues, right? Like, if you had protected your phone correctly, then he wouldn't have been able to get into the phone if it was your phone, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I think the focus of what I wanted to kind of dive into is how do we handle these situations? Like, what's the right way to do that without reinforcing that this is the right way for her to handle things? Like,
I mean,
maybe it's the hotel just needs to say, hey, we need to stop. We need to have the police come. Maybe that's what it is.
I think the number one thing about this is kindness, right? And I feel like there's a lack of kindness here that's happening because this lady is obviously in panic that she's lost her phone. So she needs to take a step back and try to get with somebody on a level of empathy. I lost my phone. It's an iPhone. It kind of looks like the phone that you have. Have you seen a phone? Do you know? Like, like you can ask in a way that doesn't seem like you're being a jerk and saying, "You stole my phone." Like, I lost my phone, it's a iPhone 11. Have you seen, like, you've got one? Like, I don't, and again, I don't know. I would feel uncomfortable
Yeah.
asking that question of just a random person, knowing that the iPhone is a very common thing. It would be like if you were like, oh, I lost my keys to my Tesla. Okay, there's lots of Teslas.
Yeah.
So if somebody's got a set of, and I don't even know if a Tesla has keys, right? But you kind of get where I'm going. It's like if you have something very common, it's hard to just walk up to somebody and be like, hey, you have this common thing that might be mine. Like, and that's where I think there needs to be kindness. Like maybe taking that to the hotel and saying, "Hey, I lost my phone. Have you had anybody report anything? Did you have, housekeeping check anything in the room? What do you know?" And obviously, this again all comes back to each individual actor being a good person. And we know, Christopher, that there are a subset of bad people out there.
Yeah. I want to bring us back because I think we've kind of strayed a little bit. Like, yes, people need to not be fucking crazy like this woman was acting, right? But we can't control that. Like we have no control over that. And really, I guess the angle that I wanted, and I don't know that we're gonna come to an answer. And I want to keep this, extra time on this, not a super long. I don't want it to run super long, but I'm just thinking about the man whose son was being yelled at here. I'm just thinking about how he handles this. How does a black person in that situation, how do they react? Because the way he reacted was, you should not be looking at us. You are racially profiling us. My son did not steal your phone, and I'm not going to show you a goddamn thing. And I 100% get that because I would react the exact same way. And by taking that stance, which I think is 100% an okay stance to take, it also led to this situation, this confrontation not being resolved. Now, I'm not saying that it's his duty to resolve the situation because he's being, I guess, attacked, or he's being engaged in something that he has no part of. So I'm not sure it's his job or his responsibility to take care of it anyway. But my thought is would it be easier to do that? And should we do that just because it's easier? Do we need to stand up and say, no, the way you're coming at me is not correct, and I am not going to engage in that, and just walk away, which I think is what he ended up trying to do when she then physically came after them. And I think that's kind of the question. And I think that's what I guess I'll kind of leave out there because
Yeah,
I don't know exactly what the answer to that is.
well, I think you're right. And we deal with some of this in my profession too. Like people will come with like a lot of like venom sometimes and they'll just say lots of mean and negative things. And it's like at this point, like there's no real reason to respond to this. They didn't ask a question. They didn't, engage. They just want to spew basically, right? And like this woman obviously is like, this is mine. I want you to give this to me. Like
Right.
she was not looking for a civil conversation. She was not looking for a resolution. She had already made up her mind that this is what I want. I'm taking it. So at that point, maybe the best option is to walk away and to get an intermediary involved. And I think that's where the hotel had a failing, that they were like, yeah, just give her what she wants, right?
Right.
Like that, I think, is the biggest failing because it's not the hotel's job to figure out, you know, if this person has her phone. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's again a job for law enforcement or whoever else.
Right.
The hotel isn't legally responsible for policing that, nor should they legally police that, because then that puts them into hot water, because then you have to have policies and procedures and protocols and all of these things.
Right.
So that's where we are in this very challenging time. And I think that we could go on, like you said, a long time about, oh, well, there's pros and cons, but if they give into this, what else are they supposed to give into, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's where my mind went, is that there's just a really weird gray area there. Like the easy thing to do is just say, look, it's not your phone, move on. But we're perpetuating this issue, which I think maybe is a bigger issue. So Anyway, that's
Well,
what we got. I'm just going to wrap it up there, B. To those who are watching, thank you so much for checking out our first Extra Time, which is the name we're going with. And the reason I chose Extra Time is because we are having another session because we ran too long on the rest of it. Other things interrupted it, which is kind of what Extra Time is in soccer, right? Kind of. Anyway,
Yep.
So yeah, if you have some opinions, please share. I'm going to post this on YouTube, and then I'm also we'll post links out on our Twitter page and our Facebook page. So if you see this and you watch it, let us know your thoughts. I'm very interested because I don't know that there's a right answer. Maybe there is, but I don't know that there's a concrete right answer. And I'm open to other opinions. So that's all I got. That's all we've got. Thank you for checking us out. Bye-bye.